Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Cloud, and welcome to my personal VOD reviews of Locals. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at Game 1 of Week 3 of the OP11 Meta, where I played Green Yellow Yamato versus Red Black Koby. Here's the deck list that I played in this match, and if you haven't already done so, please go check out the Locals retro video I made that covers this deck list and my overall thoughts on how Locals went this week. Without further ado, let's hop into the game. First game for Week 3 of the OP11 Meta, I'm playing Green Yellow Yamato versus Red Black Koby. Red Black Koby was actually one of the OP11 leaders that I was interested in maybe trying out, but I'm not too familiar with the leader ability nor the deck list, so while we're shuffling up here, let's take a look at Koby. Koby is a red-black 5000 power strike leader with 4 life, and says, your sword type characters can attack characters on the turn in which they are played, plus, once per turn, if your navy type characters with 7000 base power or less would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may place 3 cards from your trash at the bottom of your deck in any order instead. Very interesting leader. He can give his sword type characters pseudo rush, so they can only attack characters on the turn they're played, and he can actually protect his navy characters. He's got built-in protection, which means that he's going to have a very sticky board if he can establish a lot of navy characters. Really interested to see how this matchup goes. I am playing the trigger version of Yamato this time around, just some variation of it, so we'll see how we do. Going into the dice roll, I rolled a 7, and my opponent is going to roll a 4. Okay, so knowing that I'm playing a trigger aggro variant, I think I want to be selecting first here, and there's a very particular reason why. Yep, the reason why is because I want to be able to get my opponent down to 4 life or less as soon as possible. Sorry, not 4, 3 life or less. That means my leader ability is online, plus a lot of the trigger bodies that are in this deck list rely on my opponent's life being at 3 or less. So it's really important that I get to attack first in order to try to pressure my opponent's life and get them down to that threshold. But we've got our initial hand here, so let's take a look. We're starting off with a 2-cost Hiyori, 1-cost Momonosuke, 1-cost Gum Gum Elephant Gatling, 6-cost Momonosuke, and 0-cost You're the One Who Should Disappear. Let's do our counter check. We've got a 2k, a 1k, and a 3k. Again, I always count the 0-cost event because it does cost 0 Dawn, so we're good there. And in total, we have 6k counter in hand. That's a very good number, especially when we've got one of each type here. We can choose between how we want to counter, and it's nice to know that we'll be able to counter out of like 6k swings, 7k swings if we need to. I'm really glad that we have at least one searcher in our hand in the 1-cost Momonosuke. It's going to be a little rough though because I am going first, so I'm only going to start with 1 Dawn. So I can play out the Momonosuke, but I can't search with it immediately. Ideally, I would have liked to have seen the 1-cost Yamato instead. But it's always nice having a searcher, so good to see that. I am happy to see that we have Hiyori, actually. So this Hiyori allows me to... Actually, let's just pull it up right now. Read it properly. Where is she? There she is. Hiyori is a 2-cost 0k power wisdom character with 2k counter that says, on play, you may put the top or bottom card of your life pile into your hand and put up to 1 card from your hand onto the top of your life. So it's very important for this card to be in my hand if I'm playing a trigger aggro variant. It allows me to actually set up my life with triggers. So if I get maybe the 4-cost Kikunojo, 4-cost Nekomamushi, or even the new 4-cost Kinemon from Starter Deck 28 in my hand, if I see the opportunity, I might be able to play this down and actually just set up my life with that trigger so that I don't have to rely on, whatever is in my opening life. I'm also playing things like the You're the One Who Should Disappear, which also have great triggers, so Hiyori in hand is really nice. Besides that, it's good that we have decent counter. I'm actually, now that I think about it, really happy to see the Elephant Gatling. This is just a really good card for me to breast a 5-cost or less for only 2 Dawn. And the 6-cost Momonosuke is a really good way to establish a rush character on my 6 to 8 Dawn turns. So overall, not too bad. Let's see if I decide to keep it. And I choose to mulligan. Interesting. Looks like my opponent decided to keep their opening hand. I think looking back at it, even though the hand was really good, trying to find that 1-cost Yamato searcher is really important, especially if I'm going first. So I think that's why I'm mulliganing despite the cards that I had in my hand. That 1-cost Yamato, if you're not familiar with it, let's pull it up, is a 1-cost 0k power strike character with 1k counter that says Dawn 2, your turn, this character gains plus 3000 power. On play, you may, look at the 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 land of Wano type card with a cost of 2 or more, and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So you can see why this is important. On 1 Dawn, since I'm going first, I can immediately play it. And if I'm able to attack at my opponent's life, get them down to 3 or less, I'll be able to actually put 2 Dawn on the Yamato and have an attacker. So I think that's what I'm searching for, and that's why I decided to mulligan. But depending on what I draw here, maybe the other hand was better. Fist bump to start the game, and let's take a look at our hand. So we've got 6-cost Momonosuke, 5-cost Momonosuke, 0-cost, you're the one who should disappear, 4-cost Hiyori, and 2-cost Onami. Let's do our counter check. We've got 3k, 1k, and 1k. Went down in counter, we're at 5k now, but that's still a decent number. No 2ks is a little unfortunate. We won't be able to, get out of a 6k attack from our opponent if they decide to do that for only 1 card. We'd have to give up to 2 1ks, or even just 2 cards with 0 cost event. Not the greatest, but we've got some counter in hand that are decent to use. We've got no searchers, which is a little unfortunate. Didn't see the 1-cost Momonosuke or the 1-cost Yamato that I was looking for, so our early game is going to be kind of rough. Looking at the cards, the only low-cost unit we can play is the Onami for 2 Dawn. This would give our leader Banish, but since I am going first, if I were to play this on my 3 Dawn turn, then I would only have 1 Dawn left to attach to leader, making that a 6k double attack Banish. Not entirely the greatest. I would rather just go 8k double attack at that point, trying to ensure that my opponent's life goes down. I am really happy that we at least get our 4-cost Hiyori, 5-cost Momonosuke combo. I can play the Hiyori to cheat out the 5-cost Momonosuke and then draw 1 off of the Hiyori ability, but I'm losing out because since I don't have any early turn plays, specifically no 1-cost, I won't be able to heal with the 5-cost Momonosuke, so it's feeling a little bad. Overall, I don't really like this hand. I think the first hand was a lot better, but since we chose to mulligan, this is what we gotta deal with. We're starting the game, I go 1 Dawn, and I will pass to my opponent. My opponent draws, going to 6 cards in hand. They're gonna go Dawn phase, 2 Dawn. You're gonna tap 1 Dawn to play out Kujaku. So, sorry, I'm just gonna say it now. We're gonna be pausing a lot to take a look at these cards because Koby is a very unique leader, and we haven't really seen it in locals yet, nor in many regional streams. So let's take a look at Kujaku. Kujaku is a 1-cost 0k power special character with 1k counter that says on play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 navy type card other than Kujaku, and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. And activate main, you may trash this character up to one of your characters gains plus 1000 power during this turn. The reason why I wanted to highlight it is because this is kind of the new type of searchers that are being released into the game. Searchers before used to only have the search ability, but now with kind of my 1-cost Yamato as well, they're starting to be a little bit more versatile in their effects. They're having 2 effects now instead of 1. Kujaku is really interesting because she can trash herself in order to give another character plus 1000 power. So really strong card, they get to search and potentially convert that into 1k power later. Let's see what they find. And they're gonna take, oh, maybe not. Was gonna take the brand new, but reconsidering here. All right, they end up choosing to take brand new, another Navy Searcher card. And they're gonna pass the turn to me. Draw for turn, it is Hody Jones, and then Dawn phase, I will go up to 3 Dawn. Unfortunately, I'm not really happy to see Hody Jones because it's another brick, but we're gonna start off going 8k, double attack with my leader to my opponent. It's gonna force them to either give me at least 2 cards from hand, 2 2ks to counter out, or 2 cards from life. So it's a really good number to hit at. And they choose to take the hit. So they're gonna take the first life, take the second life, no triggers. And now my opponent is down to 2 life. Really good for me. My leader ability is now online, and so are any trigger bodies that I have in my life. Going to my opponent, they draw for turn, bringing them up to I think 7 cards in hand. And they're gonna start off with leader swing, 5k to my life. I could counter out of here, but since I'm feeling good that they're at 2 or less, I decide to take it, hoping for a trigger, but I did not get it. I did get the 2-cost Hiyori though, which I mentioned earlier was really nice. So if I do find a trigger in hand, I can potentially set it up. My opponent plays, taps 2 Dawn to play out the brand new, going searching, and they found, I believe it was Kuzan. Sorry, I'm gonna go back there. Yep, 4-cost Kuzan. Kind of glare made it hard there. And then let's see what they do with their last 2 Dawn. I'm gonna tap both the 2 Dawns, and they're gonna play out 2 Rippers, I believe the name is. Let me take a look here. Yeah, it was Ripper. Wow, I was not expecting him to be playing this card. So let's take a look at Ripper. Ripper is a 1-cost, 1k power wisdom character with 1000 power, or sorry, 1000 counter. That says, if you have a black Navy type character other than Ripper, this character gains blocker. So already setting up defenses. He does have the 1 Navy in the brand new right here. So these 2 are both blockers, and I don't really have good ways to rest them. So that's very annoying for me. Going back to my turn, I draw for turn. It's the Izo, and then I go to 5 Dawn. I'm now wondering what I can do because he has 2 blockers. Attacking high doesn't feel too great. It's just going to be chunk block. So yeah, we're going to try to figure out what we can do here. I am considering playing the 4-cost Hiyori that's in my hand and maybe cheating out the 5-cost Momonosuke. But again, I have no cards to heal with, which kind of sucks. So that's not great. I could do this combo. The Onami has a really good trigger in that it can KO a 5-cost or less character. So I can use Hiyori to maybe put the Onami at the top of my life and then use that to KO one of their bodies. But knowing how his Koby can protect his Navy type characters, it's not the greatest play. So I'm going to opt into tapping 2 Dawn to play out the Izo, giving my leader Banish. I'm going to attach 2 Dawn to my leader and go 7k double attack Banish at my opponent's life. I said that they had 7 cards earlier, but they actually took the first hit, right? So they went plus 2 cards in hand, and then plus 1 card in hand. So they were closer to like maybe 8 or 9 cards. They did play out 3 last turn, so they're probably around 6 or 7 cards in hand at the moment. And my opponent is going to give me a 2k and a 1k to get out of the 7k swing. I'm going to use leader ability, since my opponent is at 3 or less Dawn, to attach 2 Dawn to Izo, and now we have a blocker on board. Passing back to my opponent, they're now at 6 Dawn. And plenty of cards in hand, to be honest. Let's see if I can count how many he's got. Okay, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, roughly 6 cards. He just gave me 2, so that makes sense. He was at 7, -2, go down 5, draw 1 card, it's now 6. I'm trying to keep track of, you know, get better at figuring out how many cards are in my opponent's hand. It's really good if you know that, because then it helps with figuring out the counter math later. I gotta get better at doing it in-game though, but I'll try to do my best during these VOD reviews. Let's see what my opponent's gonna do with 6 Dawn here. I do have a blocker and 3 life still, and I have 6 cards in hand as well. He doesn't have any threatening characters on board, which is nice. So far all he's done is do some searching and then put down some blockers. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable. Looks like they're gonna tap maybe all 6 Dawn and play out. Here's the problem, I don't really know what's in the deck list, so I can't even predict what 6 costs he could possibly be playing right now. Taking a look at all those sword type characters. Could be Helmeppo, I'm looking at it now. But alright, he's gonna tap 1 Dawn and play out another Kujaku, searching even deeper through his deck. He's going to pick up the Helmeppo. Alright, that's the card that I just mentioned. It looks like it's the only 6 costs character that he could possibly play. But since he tapped 1 Dawn, I know that that's not coming out this turn. He's got 5 active Dawn left to use. Looks like he's split it between 1 Dawn and 4. Looks like he's going to actually activate maybe the Kujaku's ability. Yes, he does. Activates Kujaku's ability to give one of his characters plus 1k, and he gives it to Brand New. Attaching 1 Dawn to the Brand New, he's going to swing 5k at my life with the Brand New. I have to give up at least 1 card, a 1k counter to get out of it. I know he still has Leader Swing after this. He's most likely not attacking with blockers, so I could afford to maybe take this hit if I want to try to get another trigger out. But I could counter it if I want to stay healthy. It is just a 5k, so 1k counter doesn't feel too bad. I could just counter out of this one and then take the leader hit, because there's always a chance he attaches 4 Dawn onto his leader and goes for like a, whoops, wrong color there, goes for a bigger swing. But I choose to take the hit, and it works out because I get to trigger the 4-cost Kinemon. 4-cost Kinemon is a 4-cost 5000 power slash character with 2k counter that says trigger. If your leader has the Land of Wano type and your opponent has 3 or less life, then you can play this card. So really glad I took the gamble there. I now have a body on board. Good for me. But this does kind of suck because he could always swing high with his leader, which he doesn't, fortunately. But I have a block for that scenario. Alright, he goes 5k with leader to my life. This time I feel like I should counter. I'm only down to 2 life. And going down to 1 life right now wouldn't be the greatest. So yep, I give up the 1k counter to get out of that, going to 6k. With 4 Dawn left, looks like my opponent is going to tap all 4 maybe. And plays out the 4-cost Kuzan. Okay. I think this is a different Kuzan than what I remember since the art is different. Yeah, this is actually the Kuzan, 4-cost Kuzan from OP11. This Kuzan, sorry, before we move on here, is a 4-cost, 5k power special character with 1k counter that says on play, trash 3 cards from the top of your deck. When attacking, up to one of your Navy type leader or character cards can also attack active characters during this turn. Interesting. A way to give his characters or leader a way to attack active characters. That's pretty scary. There could be like a chance in the future if I play out a card, let's say it's even a trigger, they could just use the Kuzan to attack straight into it. You know, sometimes you leave your characters active knowing that they can't be attacked, but knowing that that card's on the field, I have to be aware that he might be able to control my board a little bit here. Yeah, I had to read the card there, I think, during the game because I thought it was on play, but it's actually when attacking, so he couldn't do it that turn, but in future turns, gotta be paying attention. Going back to me, I draw for the turn. It is the 4-cost Hiyori, and then I go up to 7 Dawn. At this point, I could play out the Hody Jones for 7, tapping his 2 blockers, but then I'd go down to 1 life, which is pretty scary. I'm also a little hesitant to be wanting to take my own life in case there are more trigger bodies in my life. But fortunately, I have the 6-cost Momonosuke I could play. If I play that, my leader will gain plus 1k since I am at 2 or less life. And thanks to Momo's ability, I'll be able to gain that 1k. So it could mean that I could have a 6k leader for the turn. That doesn't sound too bad. Since I drew Hiyori, I could always potentially do Hiyori into the blocker Momonosuke and heal 1 since I do have 2 characters on the board now that are both Land of Wano. I've got some options here. Still, having the 2 chunk blockers is really annoying. I know I have to get rid of them somehow, but I don't have any resting options in hand. That's why I liked, in my initial opening hand, the Gum Elephant. Elephant Gatling. For 2 Dawn I could rest at 5 cost or less. It is just an option. But alright, I tap 6 Dawn. I do play out the Momonosuke. Since I'm at 2 or less life, I gain plus 1000 power for the turn. Just during my turn. And then, if I have 2 Dawns attached somewhere, I can detach them to give my Momonosuke plus 1k and rush. Gonna go ahead and start out with attaching 1 Dawn and go 7k at my opponent's life, but they choose to block. Then since they're at 3 or less, I will attach 2 Dawn to my Kinemon and go for another 7k at their life. I'm ignoring their board because I want them to force to use, I want to force them to use the blockers. Plus the brand new isn't all too threatening right now since I do have a decent amount of counter in hand. But okay, I say all that and I totally changed my mind. I do detach 2 Dawn, give my Momonosuke plus 1k and rush, and I go 8k at the brand new. I guess that makes sense because I did already get rid of the blockers, so removing 1 more attacker from them isn't too bad. And actually that was a good move because my opponent is only at 2 life now. If I did attack at his life and he takes it, I would lose value out of my double attack on leader. So going for board there, knowing that I can just get these 2 life later with leader ability is pretty good. Good play there, me. Passing back to my opponent, they're now at their 8 Dawn turn. They still have the Kuzan on board. But it looks like Koby doesn't really play too many direct KO based off of costs, so not worried about this Kuzan. If it was the other 4-cost Kuzan from I think OP3, I would be a little scared because that means my Momonosuke would be in danger. Actually, I think it's OP2. Sorry. Yeah, OP02. Whoops. Feeling pretty good here. I don't have the Izo blocker since there's no Dawn attached to Izo. Oh, that's right. There's a really interesting scenario here. I saw that I only had 2 Dawn left in my Dawn deck and was like, wait a second, how do I only have 2? Does that mean I should be at 8? But I realized I left 1 Dawn over in my deck box there, so we were at proper Dawn. It scared me for a little bit. I was like, why do I only have 2 Dawn left? Did I play with 8 Dawn that turn? That should not have happened. I'm going first, so I should only be at 7. Okay. Well, my opponent's gonna start off by using Kujaku's ability to give his Kuzan plus 1k. And he's gonna go 6k at my Kinemon, which I want to protect here. Having a board is really nice, so I give up the 2k to protect my Kinemon, going up to 7k power. He still has 8 Dawn. He's already used one of his attacks, so I know I'm not going to die this turn since he only has leader swing. Oh yeah, at this point I was asking him if he used his leader or the Kuzan's ability or not to give his leader the ability to attack active characters. So looks like he did. He's gonna tap 6 Dawn and play out Helmeppo. So let's take a look at Helmeppo. I think this is one of the key cards for Koby. Helmeppo is a 6 cost 7k power slash character with no counter that says, on play, you may trash 1 card from your hand, draw 1 card, and play up to 1 sword type character card with a cost of 8 or less other than Helmeppo from your trash. Then place the 1 character played by this effect at the bottom of your owner's deck at the end of the turn. And he uses that to play out the 8 cost Koby. So we're just gonna go back to back here. 1 second, pulling up Koby. 8 cost Koby is a secret rare card that has 9,000 power and is a strike character with no counter that says on play, up to 1 of your characters can also attack active characters this turn. When attacking, you may place 2 cards from your trash at the bottom of your deck in any order. Up to 1 of your leader or character cards gains plus 1,000 power during the end of your opponent's next turn. Really cool. He buffed, I think his... Oh, he buffed his Helmeppo. Interesting. By 1k power. And I forgot who he gave the first effect to, so we'll figure out, you know, which character can attack active characters this turn. It looks like he gave the 1k power boost to the Helmeppo. Actually, why is there 1k dice right here? Oh, I see. I think, alright, yeah, I'm making sure here. He's just using this dice as an indicator to show that this Helmeppo can actually attack active characters this turn. Got it. So he's gonna start off with a 9k to my 7k Momonosuke, which I want to protect, so I give up the 0 cost event to go plus 3k, making it 10k to counter out. Then my opponent attaches 1 Dawn here. And I believe that's another 8k, which I don't have the counter for, so I have to let it go. I want to keep the cards at hand. And then it looks like my opponent goes 6k to my Kinemon, which I let go as well. And then he ends his turn. He has to bottom deck his Koby. He has 1 Dawn active and then passes the turn to me. I lost both my characters, unfortunate, but I didn't want to use the counter in hand to save those 2. I only had 2 1Ks, so let it go. I'm at 9 Dawn now. And since he has no blockers, I take this opportunity to play Onami for 2 Dawn, giving my leader Banish once again. He is at 6k right now, so this makes the math a little bit harder since I know he also has a lot of cards in hand. I do want to try to guarantee these 2 Banish hits if possible. If I swing 9k here, he needs at least 2 2ks to get out of it. If I swing 8, he needs only a 2k and a 1k. So it looks like we're going to go with the 9k double attack Banish here. I could have gone 10k, which maybe I should have, because he does counter out with 2 2ks here. Sucks for me. If I had gone 10k, it would be plus 4k over his leader, and so he would have to give me at least 3 cards from hand. But yeah, this was a mistake on my end. I'm realizing it now. I forgot I could use leader ability, funny enough, to attach 2 Dawn to my Izo. So I definitely could have gone higher since I had 3 Dawn left. I could have attached maybe 2 more, leaving 1 Dawn up for a potential event from hand. So this could have actually been an 11k swing instead of a 9k. That sucks for me. That might cost me the game. We'll see what happens here. But I pass back to my opponent. They're now at 10 Dawn. 2 cards in life still. And it looks like 4 cards in hand still. With a decent board. Yeah, I think if I had realized I could go higher, I don't know why I was saving 3 Dawn. I think in my mind, I was like, I need 2 Dawn for Izo potentially, forgetting about leader ability. But I definitely could have gone 11. Getting them down to 0 life, that turn would have been, really good for me, because I have Hody Jones in hand, so I could have potentially finished the game next turn. My opponent taps 1 Dawn, playing out the Kujaku. Let's see what they find. To be another 8-cost Koby. Okay. So there's a chance he has another Helmeppo in hand, or he could just play the Koby right out for 8 Dawn. That is kind of scary. But fortunately, they only gain Pseudo Rush because of the leader ability. Don't really have to worry about being rushed down. Seeing how, yep, he's going to go ahead and tap the Kujaku, or activate main, trashing it to give his Kuzan plus 1000 power, and he's going to go 6k to my lead, which I decide to take. Looks like it was a trigger. What trigger was it? Sorry, I'm going back 10 seconds here. Oh, it's a Kinemon. Okay. So this is really important. I could trigger the Kinemon and get a body on board, but my opponent still has 2 attackers left and 8 Dawn. So if I, trigger this out, I won't have enough counter in hand to potentially protect myself. So I don't trigger and keep it in hand since it is a 2k counter. And fortunately, that was the right move because my opponent only goes 7k with the Helmeppo. So I'm able to give up the 2k and the 1k to get out of that. So I'm now no longer in danger of dying. I know his deck probably doesn't have any rush characters, and if need be, I will just toss my Hody Jones to give my leader plus 3k. If my opponent had attacked any higher than that last turn, I think he would have been in a winning position here, because I'd have to take that last life, and then he could have attached all his Dawn to leader. I think it's a slight missed opportunity for him there, because now he's only going 6k with leader, which I just gladly take. I think that was another Hody Jones. Yeah, oh no, it's 1-cost Yamato. Alright, so I have another 1k counter in hand. Now my opponent only has 7 Dawn left. They're going to tap 3. And play out the Borsalino. Ooh, okay, new card. Let's take a look at this Borsalino. It is a 3-cost, 3k power special character with 1k counter. That's a blocker. And activate main, you may rest this character. Up to one of your Navy type leader or character cards can also attack characters during this turn. Very interesting. I'm gonna go back because, yeah, you saw me indicate here. I actually forgot I had my Izo blocker this entire time. Whoops. Even now I kind of forgot that I had the Izo blocker. So I was pretty safe. But there was a chance, which is really interesting, why he could have attacked at that Izo blocker, because he could have used the Kuzan's ability to maybe give his leader or character the ability to attack active characters. Same thing with the Borsalino, but alright. Interesting. My opponent passes the turn with 5 Dawn up and 1 blocker, still has 2 life. And I'm at 10 Dawn now, so I'm going to go ahead and tap 7 to play Hody Jones, resting his blocker and 1 of his Dawn. I don't have any life to take, which is good for me. And now I kind of have to go for game here. So we're going to go a big 8k at my opponent's life, 8k double attack, which they take. I then use leader ability to attach 2 Dawn to Hody Jones, and I go 10k. And they do not have it. Let's go. So, wait a second, let's see here. He does have Rad Beam in hand. So Rad Beam is plus 3, so that'd bring him up to 8. And I think these two... Sorry, let's try to figure out here. Doll is only a 1k counter. And... I forgot this guy's name. Prince Groose is only a 2k, so that would have been plus 3k. Oh, wait. He could have saved it. What? This is... Oh, that's not... Okay, sorry. I thought that was Rad Beam. It is actually Honesty Impact. So Honesty Impact is not a counter, I don't believe. It is not. So we only had 3k counter in hand. Okay. Woo. It looked like a Rad Beam alt art there. So, alright. Yeah, only had 3k counter in hand. Could not defend the 10k, so I take it. Great. Overall, I think this was a very close game. Came down to just me having Hody Jones in hand and him not having counter. Kind of rough there, but yeah, this matchup went pretty well. I could have maybe stayed at 1 life if I used my Ezo blocker. So that's not too bad. Trying to think what else. I think, yeah, going back to it, that turn where I did not swing 11k with my leader ability, or yeah, with leader ability and banish, kind of hurt me a little bit, because now I had to risk with an 8k swing here. They could have had 2 2ks by some off chance. They were really close. They had a 3k in hand. So, something to learn. And then also, I've kind of learned this as well. There was the opportunity for me to go leader ability onto Onami and do a 5k swing first to try to take out 1 card from hand. But that means I would only have an 8k swing with Hody Jones. 8k is a lot easier to counter than a 10k. A 10k would require almost a perfect hand of at least, actually 3 2ks at minimum. So going just big with the 10k means that I'm asking my opponent, hey, if you have the perfect hand to counter out of this, then you got it. Otherwise, you know, it's my win. So I think that was a good play, but let me know in the comments if there was anything else I maybe could have done better. But otherwise, GG's to my opponent, and I'll see you guys in the next game. Also, real quick, sorry, I'm looking at it now. This was a longer video, but since I wasn't familiar with the deck list, I wanted to take the opportunity to read out some cards here. So, okay, bye. Until next time, remember, keep your minds fresh and your spirits free. See ya.